What's going on, guys? This is Corey from Lion Dads. I help my fellow dads get back in shape and get healthy with a carnivore diet and back to basics exercise. In today's video, I want to go over and talk about my intermittent fasting strategy that I've been using and how I've been incorporating it slowly back into my carnivore diet and how it's been helping me, and ultimately whether I think some of you dads out there could also use some of the same strategies in your journey toward losing weight, getting healthy, getting back in shape. But before we get into it, I want you guys to hit like, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave a comment down below, and let me know what your experience is with intermittent fasting and how you've kind of done it. So just to kind of go over, I had done a video on intermittent fasting before and what I think about it and how, I think it can be beneficial and how it's worked for me in the past. And I've kind of dabbled in it a little bit and done it here and there, depending on what my goals were. And like I said at the time, I was in the middle of and kind of toward the end of coming off of a bulk. I wanted to put some good muscle on, gain a little bit of weight back. I had gotten down previously to the low 220s, high 2 teens kind of area. And I wanted to see if I could gain weight back the right way. And so for almost a year, actually, when I think about how the timeline I was doing it, I got on a bulk where I was just kind of free for all, eating whatever and whenever I wanted, whatever within, a carnivore parameter. Not really worrying about having too many snacks or anything like that. I was eating snacks. I ended up getting to a point where I was eating all throughout the day on a carnivore diet, where I was having, pork rinds and stuff here and there, cheese sticks, and this is on top of my meals. And there were days where I was easily topping out at well over 5,000 and some odd calories a day. And I was eating from the moment I woke up till I went to bed. I would have some kind of carnivore type dessert. My wife makes this cheesecake fluff thing out of cream cheese, whipping cream, stuff like that. Excuse me, getting a phone call. And I was doing that kind of stuff, and I was eating tons and tons of calories a day. Lots of calories, huge breakfast, huge lunch, huge dinner, snacks in between, dessert before bed. And I got all the way back up to 250 was the last I was willing to go, was 250. And I got to that point and I stayed there. It really got hard for me to gain past 250, which is a lot of weight. And I was trying to, and a lot of it, there was body fat included in that weight gain. There's always going to be, there's no avoiding it. But I really was able to, in my opinion, build some really good muscle mass. But the bulk, I wanted to end it after a while. And I got to a point where I wanted to get on a cut now. I am taking, my wife on a vacation, a beach type place. It's a secret, so I really can't put on here where we're going. But I decided it's time to go on a cut and start losing some weight. So I just kind of went back to the old ways of what I used to do it, where I just basically ate my 3 meals a day and started cutting out the snacks, no more of the dessert and stuff at night and all that kind of stuff. So what I then noticed was I was losing the weight, and I was kind of looking at my results and seeing really good results. I've dropped now down to about, I'm in the 130 or the 230s now. I'm trying to get down probably below 210 pounds, and that is by end of September, early October. So what I decided was I'm going to start kind of incorporating intermittent fasting again in my diet, and getting to a point where I was on OMAD, 1 meal a day, as a good way to just kind of better control how much I was eating and see what that would do as far as kickstarting maybe some more weight loss and stuff like that on me, fat loss specifically, not so much weight loss, but I'm just really trying to lose a good amount of body fat back off before I go on this trip. And so I don't really want to worry about like I said, I don't like tracking calories. I don't like tracking weight. I don't like doing that thing. I just want to get to a point where I'm doing things consistently. So what I wanted to do was just get my body to where it would accept fasting, because I know that is a much easier way to control what you're eating and ultimately how much fat loss you can really do. So what I did was I just slowly every day, or not every day, but like weekly, started shrinking my eating window. Because like I said, I've tried OMAD before and it was really tough on me. I just jumped right into it and I was just hungry all the time, and it just I didn't think it was something that really worked for me. But I got thinking about it and I was like, what if I slowly just kind of shrank my eating window until I got to a point where I was basically on OMAD, and would it still bother me too much? So when I started, I would wake up. This is kind of just how I lived my life before. Wake up 5 a.m., go down, get a workout in, and then I would pretty much eat a breakfast before I left and got going on work stuff through the day. It'd be like 7 o'clock in the morning, and I would eat, my eggs, my 5-6 eggs, whatever, my bacon, sausage, a steak left over from the day before, some ground beef, or whatever my breakfast was going to be. But definitely it was always eggs. And then, my typical noon would come around, I'd eat lunch, no snacking between breakfast and lunch. And then also no snacking between lunch and dinner, and I would eat my whatever dinner was that night. And then that was it. After that, I'd cut out the dessert thing and all the snacks, and that's what kicked me down probably about 12 pounds pretty quickly. And then I just it started happening a little slower. The fat loss tapers off, and because I've done this diet before and I've had my huge weight loss, and 250 is really, for a guy my size, not really that bad weight wise, as long as there's like a lot of muscle involved and not a lot of fat. But so I started to shrink my window at that point. So I started not really eating breakfast until about 9 o'clock. And then I would go a few hours, and then I'd notice like lunchtime would come around, I wouldn't really be that hungry. So I could push myself till 9, eat a pretty good sized breakfast. Your typical lunch, noon, whatever would roll around. Wouldn't be hungry at about 1:30 to 2 in the afternoon. I'd start being hungry again. So at that point, I decided, all right, instead of doing 3 meals, I'll do 2 meals and a snack. So basically it'd be like a string cheese, some pork rinds, maybe a can of tuna, just something like that. Just a little thing to hold me over until the next meal, which would be dinner. At that point, I'd be done again. So I did that for a couple weeks, where I would wake up, I'd eat my breakfast, I'd have my snack later on in the afternoon, then my dinner, nothing else until the next morning at 9 o'clock. I wouldn't do the dessert at night anymore, things like that. The carnivore dessert, which they're awesome. If you find some videos, go on Carnivorous Chef. He's got some great recipes out there for carnivore type desserts. But I digress. I would go, and a couple weeks later, I'd shrink my window even more. I'd go till like 11 o'clock. And so I found that a lot easier, as I'm kind of just building my way to it. If I could push it till 9, now I could just easily push it to 11. And so then it basically became, I was eating a lunch and then dinner. So I would have my lunch, not eat. Dinner would roll around, and then I'd eat dinner, not eat until lunch the next day. I'd eat my dinner a little later, 7, something like that, 6, 7 o'clock at night. And then, a few weeks after that, doing that for a while, I decided to go to more of a snack later in the day, and then my dinner, and I'd just go on and so forth until I got to a point where I was eating pretty much OMAD. And that's where I'm at now. And I found that strategy to be really easy to get into OMAD, and I haven't had any problems. I'm used to just eating once a day now. And it's really crazy how I've learned in these last few weeks, you can really hardwire your body to kind of bend at your will and get used to doing things. And I'm still getting tons of calories in. My 1 meal a day is pretty big. basically a good, 2,000 to 2,500 calorie meal, and I've got to choke it down, but I'm trying to get in everything I like to eat, my eggs, my beef, all that kind of stuff, in these meals that I eat every day. Sometimes I switch it up. Like there's one day I ate just like a whole rotisserie chicken, and that was my whole dinner for the day, and that was awesome. That was an awesome day. I felt great. I had a great night's sleep, woke up energized the next day. But just you can kind of change it up, but I have my consistent meals that I want for the bulk of the week to make sure I'm getting my eggs in, my ground beef, or my beef, my fat, everything like that. And so it's just my lesson moving forward with that is just kind of rewiring yourself and see if you can employ this strategy where just every few weeks you just move your window and shrink it just a little more and more and more until you find yourself at an eating window that enables you to really, really, really control what you're taking in and how much you're eating and what kind of foods you're eating. And you'll start seeing, I think, some great results that way. Do I think a lot of you other dads out there can do this? Absolutely, 100%. So I just challenge you guys, give it a shot. If you're interested in trying OMAD, but you're worried about jumping into it and like, man, I can't just go and eat one meal a day. Just try this strategy. Try shrinking and shrinking and shrinking your eating window until you're at a place where you're like, you know what, I can do this. Because I almost promise you, the majority of you guys actually, if you try it this way, can do it. And OMAD is, I think, a great way to really control how much you're intaking and what you're eating and keeping your consistency. It's so much easier for me to stay consistent when I'm just doing it and worrying about it once a day. Believe me. So that's all I really have for today. As always, I have links to Twitter and Facebook down in the description of the video. Also, head over to lion-dads.com. The link to that's down there as well. And you can get a hold of me on there or just learn more about Lion Dads. Also, click the link in the website, join our online community, get access to the Discord server. I go over all kinds of different ways to level up as a dad, not just diet and fitness. Also, there's a couple open slots for coaching available if you guys are interested. You can also find a link to my Calendly down below or on the website where you can book a free call with me and you can get started taking back your health and fitness. And until next time, catch you guys later. Thank you.